Next door, she's saying somebody put this on Facebook because they saw that somebody posted it, but this also has like over 2 months ago, over 2 months ago. They are sitting. They're sitting on the books, and we are. No, we are waiting for. I think it's Wednesday. Because she reposted it on Facebook beginning of February. It's a body person. It's supposed to be. And once they do the field work, they get ready to do the board.
Correct?
Yeah, I don't. Whatever it is. Yep. Thank you.
I didn't hear, I didn't see.
Oh my gosh. Did you see it? He talks about bloodbath. And look at this. Isn't this disgusting? They had the blood and they have money being handed to someone. Who put that in? Probably should have.
Well, Nita said she reposted it.
When the new microphone. What the hell is that snack?
Oh shoot.
Charger.
Let's leave it sitting on the
I didn't have it last. You want a hard copy? Yeah, we got a hard copy on his desk.
anyway.
There's nothing
Sign
in it.
in with Microsoft. I don't know what the hell that is. You know the
Wow. Wow.
it's not my login
We
information.
start now?
Okay.
Wow.
Isn't that disgusting? I think
Wow.
this is just
Somebody using
beyond
my computer last time?
Beyond.
beyond vicious.
Beyond.
I mean, they're
She's a
using
psychopath.
isn't it a fucking
Psychopath.
Is this my computer? Yeah, that's mine. Oh, somebody on my computer? There's a lot of stuff I've never seen before.
yes.
Oh, somebody's on it. Oh.
Since we don't have a laptop here, we passing it around.
Fine.
That's what you're doing. What happened to the archive?
He never responded. I contacted somebody else I spoke. Actually, Bill did not long ago.
Is that too loud?
So he gave me a number. I'll contact him today and see if I can call back.
Okay.
Is the other thing that they wrote here?
Yeah, if you want, just shut your microphone off.
No, let them do it.
Oh.
I'm not hiding anything. I'm going to say it after I turn on the mic anyway, so let them hear now.
It's also streaming.
It's okay. They can hear. I'm sure they're listening. I'm glad. Let them hear and just note how. Okay. Okay, so hold on to that. Okay. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
We have everything on?
Microphone's on?
So it's running.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Please rise.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. This computer gotta go, man. This computer gotta go. Jeez. Um,
So at the Nassau County
actually, no. I'm going to actually start with a making statement.
Okay.
What I'm seeing
Is your
on
mic?
Facebook. Is my mic on?
Right.
And we're live streaming. Okay.
My clock.
Clock. Yeah. So I
Force it.
mine is also speaking. Your clock is behind. Oh my god, this is taking too long. So you know what? Do me a favor. See if you can just bring it on. So,
While I'm making my statements.
okay. Good evening, everyone. So few things. I'm sure everyone heard about the mask mandates are being optional for schools starting tomorrow. I'm sure the kids are extremely happy. My kids were ecstatic when they heard that from tomorrow they don't have to wear a mask. Again, I hope that people stay civil. If there are people who are willing to wear the mask, please don't make fun of them. And people who do not want to wear the mask, please do not make fun of them either. So that's starting tomorrow. So I see that there's a lot of activity with some, I would call them keyboard warriors who continue making statements on Facebook, which are unfounded and unfortunately does nothing but mislead the community and mislead the people who are reading it. They're either doing it purposely or they're ignorant about what's going on with the village and what we are doing. So one of them was posted in Moms and Dads of Great Neck, which unfortunately deletes some of the responses, but I would respond to some of these accusations and false, I should say, false accusations and go to hopefully educate people and set the record straight. One was that obviously tonight we're going to have a public meeting about the sorry? Right, overriding the tax cap. We've done this since I became the mayor every single time. I think it was done even before I became a mayor. And it's done, I believe, in every municipality, and it's something that is suggested by the state, and it has to be done in case we have to raise our taxes. As everybody knows, or I hope they know, and they can check for themselves and not listen to people who are trying to mislead them. You can check for yourself that we have not increased our tax levy for the past 5 years, 6 years, 6 years, and we have kept our taxes flat. So what they're saying that these taxes are going up is nothing but falsehood, but you can again check for yourself. The reason we do this every year is because just in case we have to increase our taxes. Thanks for coming, Kate. I was just talking about your post. So I'm going to just repeat my. I'm just going to repeat myself so you hear it for yourself, and I hope that you stop posting and correct yourself after this, because unfortunately, what you do is nothing but misleading the community, at least the people who are reading your posts. So even though I don't like to respond to every post and every falsehood, but unfortunately this has come to my attention by different people who are questioning it, so I'm going to just say it again. So overriding the tax cap, when you put that on the agenda, is something that is suggested by the state and by NICOM to make sure that just in case we go over it, we're not against the law and that we are doing the due diligence. Sorry?
Right, it's after we do the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
And we haven't done our budget, and we don't expect to go over the we don't expect to increase our tax levy, as we have not increased our taxes and tax levies for the past 6 years. I was very cognizant of this. I didn't want to increase taxes even the first year that I became a mayor, but because I was asked to do it because of different reasons, we did in the first year or so. First year, maybe first.
When you came to the office,
The structure.
It was already passed, right? But I have kept it, and this board has kept it stable and steady, I should say, the same level in the past 6 years. So that statement was wrong, and I hope that you correct it. And if you don't, at least make sure that you get your facts right before you write things. Number two, we need the funds. We desperate needs of funds. Well, that's another fallacy because we are doing excellent in our finances, and you can check that for yourself. But again, I don't think you are interested in facts. You're interested in misleading people. The $10 million luxury town hall construction, I don't know where you got that number from. We have not even put it to bids. The construction, the plans are not even finalized. But I guess you can lie as much as you like, and there's no limit to lying. And unfortunately, the people are getting misled. It's one of the most expensive architects. Again, another fallacy. You can check and you see that he's not one of the most expensive architects. Due to the fact that the village lost its AAA rating, that's also not fact. It has not. It's been that we have not been rated because of COVID. Things were delayed, and the information they needed was not given to them at the time they wanted. So we are not rated. We have not lost our rating. We have just not been rated yet. Um Due to the fact the lack of qualified employees to supervise the constructions. I don't know where you got that from, but again, that's another fallacy. Uh, uh, the desolate streets conditions. Well, the street conditions that you're talking about, I think you mentioned East Shore Road and Middle Neck Road. I know that I've said it multiple times. I just don't know if you like to realize that Middle Neck Road and East Shore Road both are county roads. They did start without really telling us exactly when they're going to finish. They were supposed to finish before the winter time, but unfortunately that took longer because they did not expect to have as much damage to fix as many damages as they had to before they can come in and mill and fill the road.
They're doing more than mill and fill.
Right. So they expected to just mill and fill, but then they realized they have to do the medians in the middle, and they also had to do the parking lanes that they didn't expect to do, but they started doing those, and that took much longer. And because, from what I'm hearing, because there was not enough concrete, or they could not get enough concrete on time, they were not able to do it as quickly as they wished to do.
Concrete can't be done in the winter. The asphalt sometimes can. In an emergency situation, you asked about why East Shore Road was, which also somehow got blamed on us, but East Shore Road, the opening happened to be the sewer district. No,
Well, it was not the it's done by it's a
right, Hurricane Ida damage that had to be done.
right. So after our Hurricane Ida, there were some of the sewers, the drainage sewers that were damaged, and this was done by Nassau County again, not by us. We were not even informed, unfortunately, and we did bring it up to them, um, telling them that this was not the right way of doing it. But they did apologize and they did address it as quickly as they could, and they fixed the road. Again, another falsehood that you mentioned that this is going to increase the taxes. You're right, it may increase everybody's taxes. Anything Nassau County does, and if Nassau County increase our taxes, that's Nassau County increasing the taxes, not the village of Great Neck. This was not coming from our funds, but coming from Nassau County funds. So also you mentioned every time the mayor generously suspends late fees, construction fees, late tax payment, etc. Well, I am actually very proud to say that this board has decided to suspend some of these late tax. Well, we can't do that on taxes actually. We do this. It's against the law to do the tax. We don't even. We're not allowed. That's another falsehood that you mentioned. But when it comes to constructions and things like that, we all know how people were affected by COVID. It's unfortunate. Many people lost their jobs. Many people were not able to get what they needed on time, as we had, I think, in two no, well, no. I think 2 meetings ago there was a couple. There were a couple that were doing a dental office, and they were not able to get the chair on time, so the constructions was delayed, and we returned the late payment. If you think that's unacceptable, then I'm sorry. I believe that this board has decided to be passionate toward people who have been who have suffered from COVID, and we continue to do so despite your dismay. Sorry. Right. We are compassionate to those people. Let me see what else we. Uh, it was you mentioned about this East Shore Road that was not free. I'm sure nothing in this world is free, but it was not coming from our budget, as I mentioned. Um, right. Overdevelopment is expensive. Well, I think that's another fallacy. Overdevelopment is not. First of all, we haven't start developing. To talk about overdevelopment is just a little bit out of line. And development actually brings in significant amount of taxes. So you need to actually think about that as well, and tax revenue.
Doesn't cost us anything.
And it doesn't cost us anything. Development does not cost us anything. It actually brings in revenue. Um, the developers get tax breaks. Well, the tax breaks don't come from us. They come from IDA from Nassau County. If you have any issues, you can take it up with them. And again, that's not something that we have much of a control about. And then you said, did you vote for Mayor Brawl? Write him a thank you note and come to the public hearing tonight and thank him in person. So I guess you came here in person to thank me. You're welcome. That said, I give you until the end of the meeting. You come up with your rebuttal. You can tell me if anything that I said was incorrect. You can correct your facts, and I would accept an apology after if you like to. That said, let's move on to the next meeting, to the agenda. Oh, this is not mine.
So just scroll through.
Thanks.
This isn't working, but it's filled up the PDF for you, so you can just scroll.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the first item of the agenda is the Department of Report. We have Nassau County Police Report for January 2022. You have it on your screen.
I wanted to comment on a few things on this. I think, okay. So first of all, it looks like most of these were not actually intersection. There were some, but a lot of it was improper lane usage. There were a bunch of accidents that happened on January 28th. I guess that there was some icing. There were 3 accidents on the 28th from people following too closely and slipping into each other. But the intersections where we put the new stop signs, I don't think we had any.
No, there was no accidents.
There were no accidents at those intersections. And
What do
we used to have them every month. So,
Yep.
they're working.
Right. So,
And the other good news should be said that all of these accidents that occurred, and there were not as many as we often do get, were minor. There were no injuries reported in any of them. So they were all minor, probably fender bender type things.
excellent.
Mayor, would you like to open the public hearing? Or
Yes.
would you like to go to the new business first?
No, we can do the public hearing.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
Is there a motion to open the public meeting?
I'm
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is now open. This public hearing is about the override of the tax cap. I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview on this. The tax levy has been the same for the past 6 years, as the mayor mentioned, at 7.3 million. The tax limit is the lower of 2% or the rate of inflation plus some adjustment. The adjustments has to do with, as you can see, the formula on the page in front of you on the screen. It has to do the pilots. It has to do some. It has to do some available carryover from the prior years. If you do not use the tax limit increases year over year, they do not go away. They just bank for the following year. As I mentioned, the pilots and the reversal of last year, it has to be factored in. And then the expected pilots for the coming year, it's added to the amount. The formula, as I just mentioned, it's in front of you, and this is the form that is going to be filed with the Office of the State Comptroller soon. The amount of the tax cap available to the village, the amount that the village can raise the taxes by,
Bless you.
is $280,254. If we add that to the levy that was from prior year, it will be at a 7.585 thousand. I do not believe that we will get to that point. I do not believe that we will be. We have to raise the taxes this year, this coming year, by that amount. However, if you want to put it into perspective, on an average tax bill in the village, which is $2,500, even if the board votes to increase the levy by the full amount without the override, it will add on average $96 to the tax bill. Again, assuming the levy will increase and assuming that the levy will increase to the limit of 280,000. Now, this local law allows the village to increase even above that. But I cannot put enough emphasis on this, that we do not plan to do so. It's the matter of recommendation from the NICOM and the state. Would you like to open it for the public comment?
Yes.
If the members of the public have any comments?
Yes, David.
David Lenziger, 15 Beach Road. This is just a device we've had for many years. So I urge you to pass it, but just as a device, and looking at the village treasurer, I would hope that you prepare a budget that doesn't raise the property tax, if at all possible. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to respond. First of all, the budget is created and then has to get voted.
Yeah, you're going to
Right.
develop it.
Right. So as you know, for the past 6 years, I fought very hard to make sure, and this board has been on board to make sure that we don't increase the taxes, and I have kept to my promise. Despite the lies that are out there, we do not like to increase taxes. I'm not pro increasing taxes. Other institutions in our district have. We have not, and I'm going to do my darnest not to do this. So, but you can respond as well.
I just wanted to mention that the mayor have asked repeatedly, we have to do our best not to increase it.
Right. And you're also an accountant who does a lot of the work to prepare the budget. And as I've told you in hearings, you do a pretty good job. So I hope in your preparation that you're able to prepare a budget that doesn't increase the tax.
By the way, I don't know if anybody understands how remarkable it is. The price of everything goes up every year.
No, we're in a very inflationary period
It's
right
not
now.
even just that.
Right.
Over the past 6 years, even
Right.
when we weren't in a high inflationary period, the price of everything goes up.
Right.
The price of labor goes up. The price of insurance goes up. The price of goods goes up. The price of fuel, trucks, vehicles, fire contract, salary, everything goes up. And this
Well,
village,
I watch what you guys do.
and
I
this
know
village
that.
has not increased the levy through 6 years. So I think that we pretty much held the line.
Right. Well, I mean, on a totally separate thing, I mean, the school district is beginning the first of its hearings on its school budget next week. Now, that has gone up a great deal. But this has nothing to do with the village. The village is a small part of
How much
our...
have they gone up over the last 6 years?
Pardon me?
Have they gone up over the last 6 years?
Yes,
Their budget?
significantly.
Yeah.
But that has
Sure.
nothing to do with the village. This
Right.
is the village. But anyway, I urge you to pass it, and I hope Abraham is able to give us a budget that
Under the
is
direction of the mayor.
in line with the
Also,
last year.
Abraham, could you just remind people how much, as a percentage on average of your property taxes, or of the entire property tax
It's
bill
relatively
that
small.
people get, what percentage would be the village property
5?
tax?
I thought 15%.
13%.
13%.
13% of
Right.
your entire property
Right.
tax bill would be the village tax.
Right.
So,
I hope for those who are interested in facts, they put it on their blogs and stop misleading the community. Anyone else like to make a comment? Yes.
Hi, Kate Goldberg, 26 West End Avenue. So, I want to remind, first of all, everything goes up, the price, I agree, but our quality of life goes down. And I wanted to...
What goes up?
Sorry?
I can't hear you.
Our quality of life in the village goes down. And I want to remind you about this, and I want you to think about this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So you're saying that the quality of life has gone down?
Yes, yes.
Because of?
I will tell. So, I want to express my concern with the state of our village. Our streets are in disrepair. Others are closed for weeks because of underground constructions. You approved to add many apartment complexes that will clog our streets even more. You have 8 uncoordinated street lights on 1 mile of East Shore Road, and you do nothing about it. I spoke about it very many times. And many people in our village standing in this traffic jam there all the time. AAA Moody's rating was withdrawn. I hope it will be returned, but so far it didn't happen. You sold village property on East Shore Road and allowed to build huge apartment complex across Avalon. You already spent millions for new village hall and will need more.
None of this is
You
true,
have
but
okay. You did not even present how much were there. Let's you.
Let her
You
finish.
should. You yes, please.
Let her finish. Could you
So
just make
we would
those
like
notes?
to know how much would it cost, but it have never been. But you bought the
could
the
just work on
land,
it,
and you already received some renderings from architects. So it will cost more. Of course, we know all of this, and it won't be done in 1 year. So there is several years ahead of us that will see this all in budget, and who knows how much will it cost. We have not seen anything presented. So you have flood area that needs huge investment, and you also don't need how much it will cost, if it is feasible or not. You need to supervise and connect all new coming constructions. You need to close the street median. Yes, we know all that. And then you obviously don't have enough reserves to offset unexpected cost increase. And you say you may need tax levy increase of over 3%.
Oh my God.
So you have to demonstrate fiscal responsibility. Show us confidence in your finances and plans, and don't approve tax overrides. It should be easy if you say all my list of problems is all fallacy. And yes, we don't have trust after we heard you saying the rezoning plan is tabled, and then you approved one development after another. So you want us to prove something? Don't approve override. We will sleep better. Thank you.
No, don't go until you get answers, or you don't
I
like to get
listen.
answers. No, you stay here,
Okay.
because I don't remember all the
Okay.
false things you said. So let's start. What is it? Potholes. You mentioned potholes.
I didn't.
Or-
It wasn't me.
You said
I said the
Bad
streets are in disrepair.
the traffic lights. I'm sorry. You said traffic lights.
Oh yes, that's my big problem. Seriously.
Okay.
East Shore Road.
East Shore Road.
East Road,
East Shore Road. Oh, everybody-
8 traffic
I
lights.
just want to. Okay. You know East Shore Road is Nassau County?
I know, but
Ah.
it's also village.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Well,
It's
the
not.
East Shore Road, the
You want-
Avalon
listen, Kate,
is in the
Kate,
village.
I wanna
Don't
ask you a
tell me
question.
no. I
Kate,
mean, don't tell me
Are you
white
interested
versus
in
black.
facts,
I'm
or
sorry.
are you interested in
Yes,
your facts?
I know the
You're
facts.
interested in facts?
I'm not
Then-
interested
then
in
listen to
facts
facts.
that you tell me.
You know,
also
I don't like to have back and forth, but I find it very interesting, and it's amusing. But I tell you,
No, 1 second. If I go outside, the moon is also above our heads in the village. I guess we control that too.
The synchronization of the lights
Yes.
is not determined by the village. That is determined on the county level.
Okay, but
So then you
But
can
why?
complain, a synchronization issue of the lights that you're complaining about. That's something that needs to be addressed to Nassau County.
so please address it. Are you
We
our
have,
representative?
but
So
you see,
go
I
to
see-
the
you-
county and address it. You are our residents' representative. Should every resident run to the county and ask them? I would expect that you do this.
okay.
That's your
So
job.
your expectations are good expectations, and we have. But when they don't do certain things, like when they don't finish the road, you come and blame us for it. It's nothing but misleading. Either you don't understand how the government works, and if you do, then you're misleading the community. So one thing
I spoke with the
The-
county, and they said that there was miscommunication with the village.
has nothing to do with the village. You have to
Well,
realize
they
it
said
has.
you
I
had
spoke
to do
to
the median, and you said you don't have. It's everybody
median or
says
the light.
you know the.
I'm going one at a time.
You wanted
You
to
said
talk
East
to me.
Shore Road, correct? East Shore Road
Also,
lights.
yes.
East Shore Road lights
Yes.
have nothing to do with the village. One. The areas that are not synchronized are not in the village. So that said, I want to
It's in
ask you,
front
have
of
you gone to
Amazon,
any? There,
Avalon.
there are 3 lights in the village on East Shore Road. The rest are
Okay.
not in the village.
So they're
One,
also not
there's
synchronized.
only Vista is in our village, and
N-
two.
And two before it.
There are 2 lights.
So 3.
2 lights in our village.
Vistas also.
2 lights in our village. 2 lights.
3.
Even a third. You said 8 lights.
No, 8 lights, one.
Right?
I agree. That's a several.
So I
villages.
know that you're very interested to just blame everything on this board, and I take you on. I don't have an issue with it. I don't mind talking to people. It's actually is good because these are the same things that many people are upset about because people like you and in your
I'm
face
sure.
page, a lot of
You
fallacies
are
are
the
being
mayor,
interested.
and everything what is
That's
in
fine.
village
I'm
wrong.
the mayor.
It's on
It's
me.
very nice.
I get it.
I tell people I'm a mayor. I'm not God or a king, right? There are certain things a mayor can do. There are many things mayors can't do. Village of Great Neck is a village under county. Fortunately and or unfortunately, many roads do not belong to the village. Many roads are controlled completely by the county. Middle Neck Road, East Shore Road, Steamboat Road, Hicks Lane, Arundel, and also Red Brook. What else? And Old Mill.
So apartment developments also.
Wait.
by
I get
county.
to it. I get to it. Relax. I get to that also. So this, you agreed that you were wrong or not yet?
No, I never agreed
Okay,
that
that's
I'm
fine.
wrong.
I know that's the problem. You never agree. You're wrong, and that's the problem.
Yes.
But
I
that
think that
is
it
the
is
fact.
your responsibility to go to county and talk to
And
them.
how do you know I haven't?
I don't know. Please
well,
tell
you can
us.
ask me instead of saying blaming the board. You
Well,
can ask, have you spoken to
transparency,
them?
it's on the side of the government too. I am not going to ask you every time what have you done.
No, that's okay. But we
I
have
would
asked
like.
you for
I read. I
Right.
follow your
Okay.
web page. I follow your board meetings, and I have never heard that you went to the county and talked
There
to
are a lot
them.
of things that we do that we don't put it on Facebook, but that has been asked.
By the way, 2 lights in the village.
That I
Right, that's
can't.
what I thought. There are 2 lights in the village, and we have asked them already. So that's that. Then what was the other one? Let's go one by one. Yeah, the flood area, as you know, we are hiring a company to do it.
Yes,
How
and
much is
that-
it going to cost? And even if we can do anything about it, I don't know. There may be that we can't do anything about it, but the studies are being done. County is being involved. This is being done. You should know that because it was.
I
on
know,
our-
I know, but I know
Right.
that it may be very expensive, and that
Even if it's very expensive.
we need to calculate for that.
Well, let's see how much it's going to cost, and we may have to bond it. And you have to know, we may not be able to do anything about it.
I know.
Okay, so we may not even have to spend a penny. You know that also?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Next. What is this? Millions on Village Hall. So I don't know how you're calculating millions on Village Hall. It may cost millions, and I have mentioned, and it's going to cost money.
I'm sure.
You have to realize one thing. Village Hall is what any village, it's what we have. Hold our court, our meetings, everything is done in the Village Hall. It's not built for 5 years or 10 years. It's built for 50 to 100 years. So you can't do anything that is not going to last that long. So you have to spend the money? Yes, you're going to spend the money. Am I spending it for me? Absolutely not. I may not even be a mayor when the Village Hall is built. You understand that?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. And it's not for you, it's for whomever lives here. So you want to bash that? You can. You're allowed to say
I
millions.
just asked you
But to say
to approve the
Kate,
tax
Kate.
override. We're talking about tax override, and you are saying that all this is fallacy. So why do you need the the
did you
tax
understand
override?
what we said about the tax override?
Yes, but
No,
you
didn't.
feel not
No, you
sure.
didn't.
You don't
You
You
feel-
don't
I
understand.
understand.
Kate,
I understand.
Kate, you don't understand the tax override. Every municipality in New York State is advised strongly that they must pass the tax override. Because when we do our budget, which is coming up,
No, I find it amusing.
if there's anything that makes us have to increase over the tax override, we don't want to cut services, okay?
I understand.
We don't want to fire people.
But that's exactly my question. So you are not sure that
Oh my
may not
God.
happen without tax override.
You have to do it as insurance.
We
So
have
I-
done it.
So you don't
Kate,
want us to.
I don't understand. I
this
see
is
that
the
you are
proof-
She
not
doesn't
sure.
understand. She doesn't
But
understand.
that's fine, guys. I am
no,
saying
no.
my opinion. You are saying
No.
your opinion. It's after
I
all,
want
it's a
you to
public
explain-
hearing and not a trustee
No.
hearing.
I want
So
you to
I said my
explain
opinion.
To me,
I
no.
explained you.
Explain to me what is this law that we're passing
So this is a
Explain to
law that you want, that you have an,
Right.
yes, you have the possibility, you have an allowance to make the tax override, that you can do this.
Right.
Yes, right.
Every municipality does it.
Yes, I am
The
saying
school
that
does it. Every village
this-
does it. Everybody does
I
it.
am. I don't know if other all municipalities.
Everybody does it.
I don't know this. I'm here
I know
with
that.
you,
I'm
and
telling you that everybody does it.
and I tell you that I don't have trust in this
I see,
government.
because you're wrong.
Yes,
But okay,
because
you can- I
because
don't
guys,
have-
you said years ago, you said the rezoning plan is tabled, and after that you
Okay,
approved
now then we go
one
to
after
rezoning plan.
another.
Good.
The apartment
I'm
buildings.
going to respond to that. Okay, wait. Rezoning. How many meetings did we have about that? It took
Sorry?
about a year. We had about 8 or 9 meetings.
Yes.
What happened after that? Election happened.
You
No,
said,
what happened after that? Election happened.
Yes.
Right. What happened in that election?
You were. I don't know. You were elected.
By how many points?
Oh, good.
No, no,
so,
wait, no, so what
that may
happened after
happen
that?
again. That's
Kate,
exactly
Kate,
why.
Kate,
so you will
Kate,
be again re-elected,
Kate,
and then you say, "Forget, guys.
Kate,
I was re-elected. I
Kate,
was a."
What happened after that?
What happened after that? You started
Did I
approving
pass
one
that?
after
Did I pass
another
it? No.
the apartment buildings.
Kate, did I pass that rezoning?
Sorry,
Did I pass the rezoning?
I didn't.
Did I pass the rezoning?
No,
law?
you did not pass
Could
the
I- could
rezoning
I-
plan,
could I- thank you.
but you passed.
Could I?
But you approved many
Kate,
apartments.
Kate,
What's the
no,
difference?
But I want to ask you, did I pass the rezoning?
No, you tabled
Did-
it. You
Did
said
I
that
table
you
it, or
tabled it.
it's tabled for 2 years?
It's been
3
It
years?
tabled for many
How-
years,
no,
but
no, no. You
the
can't table it
apartments
for-
were
Kate,
approved,
Kate,
and that's exactly what
stop.
I'm saying.
Kate,
That
Kate,
there
listen.
is no trust.
Did I table it?
You
Did
said
I
that-
pass it?
No,
Did
you
I pass
didn't-
it?
No,
Let
you
me
didn't
ask you a
pass
question.
it.
After winning by 1,000 votes,
Yes.
could I have easily passed it the next meeting? Could
don't
I
know.
have?
You still need
No, no.
a-
Could I have or no?
not without a public
Without what?
hearing.
I already have.
You could do it
There was
before.
a referendum.
You could have done it
There
before
was a
also.
referendum, Kate.
Like
Listen,
now, it doesn't matter.
see,
You can do whatever
this is
you
America.
want.
This is America.
Yes.
The way in America it works. There was a referendum on the fact that people came and said that I'm going to rezone and make Great Neck like Queens. What happened?
You are doing it.
Okay.
You do it without rezoning.
Right.
You just
So, but
do
I
it
tell you,
one
first of all, I
building.
disagree with you.
and
That would have made development more difficult. But you don't understand that. I don't expect you, because if you don't understand this, I don't expect you to really understand that. But I tell you, what is going to happen is this. I could have easily passed it after the election. I didn't.
Sure.
You know why? Because I respected many people's wishes not to pass it, even though I could have easily done it. I didn't. Because unlike you, I respected you and the people that came against, right? Unlike you that you don't have any respect or trust for this board, I decided that I'm not going to go against many people that came in, even though I won by a significant majority. That said,
But did
now
you
you're
approve
saying-
all the
wait,
buildings
wait,
after
let
that?
Let me continue.
777 Middle
Let
Neck
me
Road,
continue.
733 Middle
Okay,
Neck
no,
Road,
okay,
the
wait,
East
wait,
Shore Road.
wait. 777. Did 777 get the
733?
incentive? Did 777
What
get the
does it have with
Did
incentive?
777
You rezoned it.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
use your ears.
Listen. Did 777 get the incentive?
It doesn't matter.
Yes or no?
I don't know. It
You don't
doesn't
know, but you say-
matter.
What?
But it doesn't matter. You
No, but you're saying
approved it.
that we rezoned for 777.
Did I
Yes, you
rezone
rezoned
777?
Yes,
I
you
rezoned
rezoned
777?
because you wanted to build 3 and 4
Did I
four-story
rezone
buildings.
777?
So
Did I
Kate,
rezone
So
777?
I don't care, because you know what? That's the same. You will tell me the same story after
what?
you increase the
Kate,
taxes.
it's-
You
Kate-
will say, "Did I do this? Did I override?"
Kate.
That's
Kate,
the
you know,
same
it's so
story,
funny.
and that's why I have no trust.
You
We
have
all
no
know
trust
that you
because you don't-
approved the
because you don't
buildings.
think-
We all
Kate,
know that
Kate,
that
it's very
777 was
It's very hard-
approved.
It's very hard for you to listen and learn when your mouth is going like this.
Brian, could you put the air on, please? It's getting heated.
Right. So I tell you what. You know what bothers me is that the amount of either lack of understanding or lack of information. And maybe it is the board's fault that
Maybe.
we're trying to educate, and maybe we're not educating properly. But I
Maybe.
want to tell you what.
So go ahead.
I'm not going to blame you for everything. I blame you for not doing your due diligence before
Not
you post
blaming
something.
me for everything. Am
No,
I
no,
mayor?
no.
Am I
No.
trustee?
If
You're
you're
blaming
posting-
me for
no,
everything.
you're the
So
one that-
I
you're the
need
one
You're
that-
first
the
to be
one that
elected.
posted
You're the one that likes posting very inflammatory,
And-
false and misleading things.
Right.
So I'd like you to listen and learn a little
I'm
bit.
listening and I'm
No.
really
You're not
trying
listening,
to
you're talking.
understand. No,
You're
I'm.
not even listening
Oh,
now.
seriously, it's a public speaking. It's not trustee speaking, and I am still listening to
Kate,
you.
Kate.
You wanted this
Kate,
conversation?
did
We
I?
have it.
So you're saying that I changed the zone?
I said that you allowed the apartment buildings.
Right. Okay. So do you
No.
know? I want to ask you. Let me just explain to you. So, and I'm explaining to people who are listening because I'm sure a lot of people are. If you buy a land or buy a house that is 50 by 100 or 90 by 100, right? You buy a property 90 by 100. You can build, let's say, 3,300 square feet on that property, right? Can you? Let's say you can.
That's in the zone.
The zone allows you to build 3,300 square feet, right?
Yes.
You go ahead and build the house, knock down the old house that is there, and you want to build a brand new house, 3,300 square feet. Are you allowed or not?
You're allowed.
Based on what you're saying, you're not allowed.
Sorry?
Based on what you're saying, you're not allowed.
No, but
No, yes.
I am allowed to build. Why? It's
Because-
not. But if it is
because,
allowed by the
Kate.
zoning, but I was following all these board meetings.
Kate,
There was not a single house that was, maybe one, I know why, that was built according to all zoning laws. They all were higher, they all were wider, they were all were closer
okay.
to the neighbors.
Right.
They all had this, they all had that.
All right.
So,
So
I
you
really
mentioned
followed
777.
all this.
So I mentioned
And we add 733. Tell me 733. Is I
730
wrong?
Right. So 733.
Tell me the issue
No,
road.
wait,
Am
I
I
go
wrong?
one
How
by one.
many?
I go one by one.
No, don't
don't
go
want me to
one
go
by.
one by
No,
one?
I
Okay,
don't
fine.
want because I know this.
So you know what? This is what I'm going to do.
So
I'm
one at
going
a
to
time,
put
then
down-
I'm finished because it's
I
my
know,
time. I'm
I
the
know. This is
public.
it's for people.
Yes. Okay, I'm
yes.
finished. Thank you very much.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I mention it now because it's I think some people don't want to be educated and some people don't want to know the facts. So welcome to that party, Kate. But this is what I'll say. I will have a meeting, and I don't know if we got our Mondays locked in with the Park District or not.
Jason said he was gonna confirm.
Right. So this is, I'm going to say, if they haven't confirmed yet, I will have a coffee with the mayor, and I hope that we get coffee here next Monday at 7, at what time did we say? 6 to 6 p.m. 6 to 7 p.m. here. If that changes, we'll let you know. We wanted to have it in the Park District. We've asked them 2 weeks ago, and we haven't gotten anything back yet. We will have coffee with the mayor. And any of the trustees who would like to join, you're more than welcome to join. We will be here to discuss situations like this and to try to tell people and try to educate people to know what is the right thing. One of the things that somebody said was that we allowed we started the Middle Neck Road project and Nassau County could not finish it, but that's another dumb response. So I'm going to say if there's any other comments about the tax override. If not, then we're going to close this and then we get to the everything else at the end.
Could you just repeat that about the Park District on Monday?
No, I tried to have it in the village, Great Neck House.
Oh, it's not open yet. It's
Right, but
still
right, so they said that they may be open by next week. If not, listen, if not, I told them if we don't have a response back by tonight, I'm going to hold it in this place next Monday. I mean this, what did I say? This Monday the 7th at 6 p.m.
here.
Yes, please tell your friends to come and they can discuss if they have any ideas, they have anything to discuss. It's going to be from 6 to 7. The question of buildings and how many buildings we gave variances to and what those variances are, if there are any, and who got away and who gave them the variances. All those things can be discussed so people can actually know the facts, not wrong information that is being spewed by some.
But you said you're meeting with the mayor. Which mayor?
I
No,
think
it's
I'm
meeting
meet the mayor.
Yes.
Coffee with the mayor. All right. And the trustees would like to join, and we bring
You can't,
cookies.
only one.
Huh?
You can't have a quorum.
It's public.
Okay.
And we're
It's-
also, we're allowed to answer questions.
No,
Okay.
but we're public.
discussing-
It's a public. I'm announcing it a week in advance, and it's public.
Can't they
There's-
have it in the park office? It's big enough for.
Well,
They
didn't
haven't
invite us to that.
responded, so I can't.
Check with Jason.
Yeah, Jason hasn't responded, but maybe because it's not open yet.
Uh,
But anyway, so
She's-
any
she's
Is there-
talking about the park office at 5 Beach Road.
we have it here.
We could
It's
have it
just-
here, it's the same,
Yeah.
same thing.
Okay.
Any other person would like to talk about the tax override? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing? It's moved by Trustee Hope.
Second.
It's seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The public hearing is now closed. You could see the text of the law in front of you. Is there a motion to pass the local law that if the needs be to override the tax limit of 7.585931, again, if the needs be?
So moved.
It's moved by Deputy Mayor and seconded by Trustee Hope. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The local law is adopted. The next item is the letter by Mr. Magos.
Hi, how are you? I'm so sorry for you to wait.
Please come up.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, trustees. I presume everybody got a copy of my letter?
Yes, it was in the,
Okay.
it was on the,
Yeah. About a week ago,
Okay, guys.
something very unpleasant happened in our village. My son was abused on the street. He was walking peacefully, and a couple came to him suddenly, said, "What are you doing here? Do you live here? We've never seen you before." And he was confused. He was taken aback. And he immediately thought what was happening. In fact, the Central Park incident, I think most of you know, but the woman with the dog and the guy with the bird watcher, and that flashed back to him, and he said, "I know what's happening." So he decided to diffuse it, and he just told them, "Yeah, I'm a resident here. I have been living here for 30 years. I live on North Gate Road." What could they say? I think they were silenced. So they proceeded their way, and he came back home. And he just left home. He works from home, so it was a nice afternoon. It was a Thursday, the 17th of February. And he said, after a quick lunch, he said, "Oh, I'm going to go, for a quick stroll in the neighborhood." And I presume, and I'm sure this was racially motivated. Here you are, a young black man, and these people thought that somebody, a stranger in their neighborhood, "What are you doing in my neighborhood?" Everybody knows what happened in Georgia when somebody was killed. This is very sick, and I'm not trying to dramatize it or to complain about it. I want it to serve as a teaching moment.
No,
And-
it's
and-
very upsetting, but do we have any identification of who it was that?
I wish I knew. My son was just confused. He only wanted to get away from them and come home. If I knew them, I would talk to them personally.
I'm surprised because we do have, at least where I live on Beach Road, we have some significant racial diversity right on my street on Beach Road, which is not far from, it's the next street from Fairview.
Well, I don't know what was in the mind of these people, but what they did was reprehensible, and I want you guys to, to note that.
Thank you.
Right.
for bringing it
I
up.
wanted to, again, thank you. I know I spoke to you on the phone.
Yes.
And
How
I wanted,
old- Does he know how old the couple was?
They were, he said, maybe in their 60s.
Right. So I wanted to first thank you for coming forward. I think it's important to, and also for you to be above and beyond kind and not doing this to hurt someone, but as you mentioned, to educate. And I do believe that it's important. Even though I don't believe that systemic racism exists, at least not here, but unfortunately, racism may exist. And I see that from the encounter, that this probably was an act of racism. And even though if it was not violent, but the verbal statements can hurt someone probably more.
Yes.
I do want to let people who are listening know that Great Neck is a very diverse community. We have people who have migrated from different areas of the world, uh, from Iran, from China. We have Hispanics from Africa. We have Hispanics, blacks, Jews, non-Jews that live peacefully and quietly in the same neighborhood. Um, Despite our disagreements, as I had with the previous lady who was standing in front of me, we have a lot more in common that we are different. And I think um, for for a person of color to be picked on just because of the color, it's appalling. Um, it's disgusting in my views. Um, and I can tell you that I have not discussed color or race with my kids at home, and I don't believe that we should. Personally, I think we all have to be treating each other the same, despite our color, um, or religion, or the level of religiosity. And I hope that this is a lesson. And I want to again thank you for coming forward, because today may be a black man who's being picked on. Tomorrow may be a Chinese man or a woman. The next day can be a religious Jew, a non-religious Jew, and that is absolutely unacceptable in any society, and it should definitely be um, discussed in public. And that's why I wanted you to come and actually say your story, because your story is going to hopefully send a message for everyone who listens, and for everyone who listens to tell their friend that we are a community of different colors and different ideologies. And despite our differences, I hope we learn to have respect for one another. And again, if you see something, you have to say something. But seeing somebody walking peacefully in a street is not something that you have to talk about. If you see someone going and doing something wrong, obviously you need to mention and you have to report. But if a black man or a Chinese man or a white man is walking and enjoying the weather, if you want to say hi and have a conversation, you can say hi and have a conversation. But do not ever ask or make anybody feel uncomfortable because of their color or race or religion. So for that, again, I wanted to thank you, and I hope that the message is well taken by the community. And again, um, I hope that your son goes out again and feels comfortable. And if anything like that happens again, I would like for those people to be reported.
Yes, next time we'll make sure.
All right.
Thank
Again,
you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Next.
The next item on the agenda is a proposal by Anchor Electric Services to provide electrical work for the median at Middle Neck Road. You see the contract, the proposal in front of you. The proposal calls for $167,628. This includes to change all the concrete bases for the lights in the Middle Neck Road, as well as putting a conduit, galvanized conduit in the island, and replacing all the wiring to the new poles that will be purchased in the near future. And this will also include installing the boxes at the bottom of each pole.
Okay. So we are in part of our mission to beautify Middle Neck Road in our.
Gene, we can hear you all the way here. Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, you cannot hear what I'm saying.
exactly. Yeah. So if you can hold on, that'll be awesome.
So in part of our mission to beautify Middle Neck Road, and fixing the median, which we are working very hard. We are going to try to change the lights and put more decorative lights to bring in more warmth to Middle Neck Road. We are obviously going to also not try, but will put some planting and some trees on the median to also beautify the area. Obviously, these trees are going to be more decorative trees, not very tall trees that are going to create obstruction and also road damage. So as part of that, having the this anchor to do the preliminary work, we're going to have most of these wiring from underground, so there won't create, it won't cause more light outing every time there is a storm, and hopefully that there are going to be multiple ones, so if one of them goes out, the rest will stay on. So for that reason, we're going to, this proposal is put in front of us. Anchor is the one that we deal with, and the suggestion is to pass this.
I just want to mention, even though we have, it's above $35,000 and it has to do with the Department of Public Work, it doesn't need to go to the public bidding because we are piggybacking on the town of Hempstead,
North Hempstead.
town of North Hempstead, town of North, it's a town of Hempstead.
No, it is town Hempstead contract.
It's a town of Hempstead
Town of
contract.
Hempstead contract?
Town of
Oh, really?
Hempstead
I thought it was
contract, so
something else.
therefore the prices are already negotiated by the town of Hempstead. Town of Hempstead is one of the largest, most populated towns in America.
Right. Okay. Anyone has any comments on that? Okay.
So when you say that we're piggybacking,
That means the
Piggybacking
prices are negotiated with them, and
Or the
these are the
contract. We're beginning on the contract.
and these are the best prices that are available to the town of Hempstead that we are using the same contract. Is there a motion to approve the proposal as presented? It's moved by Trustee Kashi and seconded by Trustee Hope. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The proposal is passed. Next item are the minutes for February 15th meeting.
I read them, I'll move them.
It's moved by the Deputy Mayor and seconded by Trustee Hope. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. The next item is the abstract for this Friday, March 4th.
okay, I just have a couple of questions.
Yes.
So with the AT&T mobility, that was the first bill.
Yes.
It says LED light control. So why is that on that bill?
So we have the LED lights that we do control them through in the village hall, and then we have the cell phones that is used by the parking officers. The LED lights uses the SIM card to transfer the data to the modem to be transferred to the village hall, so we can control the lights, and if there's something is out.
So, yeah.
So
Each light
Now I understand.
each
light communicates with, it's called a gateway. We have 3 gateways.
Right.
So each light communicates with that, which allows us to control the lights
Okay,
from
so
the
that's why it's on the.
so AT&T is the company that provides us with that network. So the part of this, as you could see, $109 of it goes to the parking enforcement. Those are the 3 phones that they use to issue tickets, and $164 are for the SIM card that are used for the gateways.
Got it. Okay, that was one question. And the other question, I noticed for the magistrates, there was only one slogan. Why wasn't Kirsch?
Use the microphone, please.
I thought it was on. Oh, I'm sorry.
It was probably because Judge Kirsch already
He already was a
signed
magistrate. Okay.
and joined.
Okay, so I make a motion to accept the abstract.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Public comment?
Yes.
And come on.
Yeah, it's freezing.
It's freezing.
Feels great.
It's not freezing yet?
Oh, it cooled down now.
I'm freezing. Okay.
David Lenziger, 15 Beach Road. I have a couple of questions. Last time I asked about the grounds in front of the senior citizens apartment house at 700 Middle Neck. And at least as of the other day, Sunday, it sure looked as if it hadn't been cleaned up. So I'm wondering where we stand on that.
So isn't that I think we discussed it and it doesn't fall under
Yes, I know that,
Louis.
and you were supposed
we
to.
need to really probably just send them.
I did call them, left them messages, sent them emails, requesting that they clean it up, explain about the problems and the issues, and never got a response. I've been reaching out. We were actually out there the following day, I believe.
Well, the
And so
following
it-
day it was cleaned up, I think.
No, we saw some.
Well,
We were there the day before.
The meeting that we went there, we saw that it was rice and.
Well, I do hope
But
it can
we'll
be
keep
cleaned
on top
up.
of them too.
And if, since I guess it is owned by the village, if we find, say, another
No.
few days,
What is owned by the village? The building is not owned by the village.
well, the housing authority, isn't it a village entity?
No.
Housing Authority Board, some of them are appointed by the village,
Right.
but the management, it's totally, separate from the village.
Yes, but who actually owns the building? Is it not owned by the village of,
I think
is
it's
it owned by the
county or the state?
federal HUD?
Housing Authority, Great Neck Housing Authority, which is a standalone entity.
Yeah, I understand. That's New York. We have these authorities. Well, if perhaps some arrangement could be made, perhaps with our public works people, to get it cleaned. I mean, there might be they have all these intermunicipal agreements, and perhaps with a handshake it could be done, because it's an eyesore. I have another question that's dealing with empty storefronts. I'm curious, has there been any inquiries about 705 Middle Neck Road, that big and lovely
No.
remodeled office building at Arundel or Hicks and Middle Neck?
Yeah.
Has there been any interest by a business that might seek
So-
David, I didn't hear you through your mess. What did you say? The big what?
Ugly.
705
say
Middle
ugly?
Neck, the corner
Did
office?
you say the big ugly building?
No, I
Oh,
said big office building.
Ah,
At
We all
705.
heard-
I heard ugly.
heard ugly also, yeah.
I didn't say it was ugly. They spent a lot of money to remodel it, but
Right, so I
there's
tell
no
you-
one in there.
All right. So I tell you why. We have done whatever we can as far as getting them all their permits. They have to go through some. They're still waiting for the fire. I'm sorry. They're still waiting for the fire marshals to give
Okay.
them the C of O. That's
But
the
but
problem.
but to anyone's knowledge, I mean, does the
That's
owner
what we're waiting for.
who
There are people who are interested. There are many
Oh.
people who are interested. The only problem is they can't get a C of O because the fire marshals don't let them.
fine, okay, let's hope that
No,
comes.
people no.
Because
people are listen. Despite what people think, there are people that want to bring their businesses in Great Neck.
Excellent. Then I'd love to see a tenant in there because they spent a
me
lot
too.
of money and they
You're
fixed
right.
it up.
And they are suffering, but we're waiting. I'm hoping that they do whatever the fire marshals from the county ask, and hopefully they can get their C of O. And
Very
they can-
well. A second thing that I'm curious is, since now nearly 6 months, the former bank, the Capital One, has been vacant. Has there been any inquiries in terms of retail or some other
Right,
bank
so-
or anyone for that property?
Well, they have asked. Well, there are a couple of people that have come forward, but that's up to the owner which one they're going to do. But
Fine.
there are people who are interested.
Good, because
Again.
I just like to see that something like that is, again, you want to see the structures filled with businesses
You're absolutely right.
or other things.
You also have to realize, I think everybody needs to realize that this is immediately post-COVID.
Yes, I know that.
So, it's not, I wish it was that simple, but many people suffered, and for
No,
them to move, it's.
I'm personally aware of it. Nothing is simple. Certain things that I need, medical things and all that, I can't get. So I'm quite well aware of that. I
Okay.
know that. But I'd just like to see that we have interest.
There are
The fact
people who
that
are
you say someone is interested in 705 is great.
Yes, there are more than one people. There are more than one entity that is interested. The problem is, even
You said
though
what
I
the
would
problem
say
is, and I understand
the
it.
owners are very much trying to get something, but
Sure.
we're waiting for the fire marshal.
Well, if you don't have a CO, you can't do anything, but let's hope that happens. Now, another thing I'm curious about is trees. And we had a discussion of the budget. Here you have the village had its 100th birthday in January. I'm wondering if in the budget for 2022-23, we can't have some kind of appropriation, perhaps for the park fund, and take some money from that and plant a large number of trees throughout the village. I've lived here for 40 years, and the number of trees that we've lost due to storms, drought, cars, and subdivisions is absolutely enormous.
Right.
And I'm thinking, since we have all that money in the park fund, perhaps there could be some kind of campaign. I don't know, you figure it out, 100 trees or 500 trees, and plant them.
So from what I'm hearing, Louis does plant.
Yes,
a
I know
bunch of
that.
trees.
I ask
But
about that
the only
every
thing
year.
is you're thinking about 500 trees.
Yeah.
Where would you plant 500 trees?
On all the properties, on individual, on private land. I'm not talking about, we only have that one park, but as a way to kind of reforest our village again. And it's an environmental thing, it would be beautification.
You see, David, you know very well that you can't go on somebody's property and just plant.
Yes, I know that, but therefore we should try to encourage it, because we've had a tremendous loss of trees and forestation in this village for
Right.
decades.
Now,
And that might be and we have all that money in the park fund.
Right. I know, but I don't know if it's that simple that you can go tell people that we want to plant trees next to your house. I don't think people would be. I mean, listen, we certainly can say if anybody wants to have trees, we're willing to give them the money for it.
I think
Well,
that-
I'd encourage you to do
I
something.
think part of what has to happen
Mhm.
is, like on Middle Neck Road, we have some trees that are in terrible, terrible shape.
And the sidewalks. I mean.
They're tearing up the sidewalks. They're into the wires. They're not attractive.
Yeah.
They detract from the stores. They detract from the streetscape. That I think that one of the things that needs to be addressed is
To remove them and put
removing
nicer
those trees and putting nicer trees, healthy, nice trees that will not grow into the wires and will not tear up the sidewalk. So that's all part of our plan going
Well,
forward.
that's fine in terms of middle. I don't have any problem with that. I don't think anybody does. But what I'm just suggesting is, if you walk along Maple Street or Arundel Avenue or Hicks Lane or Beach Road, it's astounding how relatively bare it is compared to how it used to be. There used to be in the summer a kind of an overhead canopy.
Beach Road.
Yes, and Arundel and Maple, you know yourself. I mean, and thanks, the storms and drought and all kinds of other things, and old age, and maybe we should. This is my suggestion. You're preparing the budget. Maybe there's a way this can't be
But I
done.
don't think the budget includes the park fund. But
No,
we
it
can-
doesn't. But there is an appropriation in there
we
for
can
trees,
possibly put it.
for
We do
DPW.
have money, I think, every year that is being appropriated to planting trees.
Yes, there is. There's a line item for DPW every year.
Right. So, listen, I love trees, and I think it's a great idea. We just need to plant the right trees in the right locations. You can't just plant any trees anywhere. We're going to end up with the same issues with the sidewalks, and they're going to break the
I
sidewalk.
don't want the trees to break up the sidewalks, but if people say would put a tree in the middle of their lawn, that's not going to interfere with the sidewalk or the lipo lines or anything else.
We look into the legality of it, and I think, listen, I think trees are great. We just have to find the proper location, and we will look. I take your advice, into account.
And one last item, and that kind of got into where even you mentioned we need to educate people about things in the village. The website is terrible. If you look now, there's stuff on the village website that is basically from January and February, but here it's March. So get things up to date. If you want to explain things to people and say where budget comes from, then have some items up there and do it. You trustees or the professional employees of the village can do that sort of thing. The other villages, even those that are smaller than ours, like Thomaston, have far better websites than we do. The Estates has a better website. If you want more information, get it up to date, make it timely, And if you think people are misunderstanding things, as you had that colloquy with a resident before, then use that to explain. Say, well, here is what percentage of your tax bill village taxes, or say, our budget is, approximately the
Right.
10 million, and say what it is, and so on. You have that opportunity right there. The introduction to the village page is the same old stuff that was there more than 10 years ago.
So we're trying.
It
to
has
fi-
not been updated ever.
I hear you're right, and I think that's something that we have discussed, and we're trying to get someone who's going to be on top of it, and keep changing whatever that needs to be changed. And I don't know how easy the manageable the website is, if it can, those informations can be put on regular basis.
Maybe a major revamp of the entire website.
Well, that would help too. But post things, make things more timely. I mean, if you have a concern, as you had with the resident, and you're talking about becoming more educated, then do a
But
little education.
David, you know very well. There are some people who are not educated. There's some people who actually purposely, and there are people who I know are educated well enough to know. They're lawyers who know very well what the law allows and what the law doesn't allow, but they purposely twist facts and mislead. So you're right. We can do our best.
Well, I
to,
would
to
encourage
educate.
this board, 'cause these are things that you control.
Well,
It's the village's website. I don't think it's being used adequately. I think it requires
Right.
an enormous amount of
Even though I
updating.
don't agree with you on everything, but I do agree with you on this.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, Gene.
I'm going to be, it's okay, don't worry.
That's all right, I'm not worried.
I'm going to be quiet.
You're not going to be quiet?
I am.
Oh.
No, I would get worried if you don't say anything.
Oh, that's true. Anyway, the trees David just mentioned, about 15 years ago, Kensington, the village of Kensington, if you drive through on Beverly and Nassau, the gardens, some have a tree right in the front on their lawn. They were given, the neighbours, the mayor of the village, gave everybody that lived in the village a chance to pick a tree if they wanted it. If they didn't want it, that was fine with them. And I know this for a fact because my son planted about 200 of those trees. When we go through there, he'll say, oh, that's my tree, that's my tree. So they were given like 5 trees. You could pick what you want to have, and it worked out very well. You might, consider that.
Okay.
Now, the other thing, and they didn't have to pay.
One second, let me see what he's
Oh,
responding.
actually, they did. They actually paid something towards the tree, and they picked
This
out
matches
what
up
they
with the
wanted.
mayor, that there are villages that, for example, they buy 200 trees,
Mhm.
and they say we have 200 trees, whoever's interested can come and get it. But the mayor mentioned, unfortunately, 90% of them die right after planting because people, it's free, no one cares about that.
Also, nobody
They
knows
didn't
how to
water
plant a
them.
tree. They don't
So-
water them
so-
adequately.
So maybe what we could do is we could contract a couple of contractors and negotiate a specific price for them. That if you buy a tree, they can plant it, and for the certain percentage of it.
They still have to be irrigated.
Right. I do not disagree with that, but just.
Well, my son went
believe that's
around
what
and
we could-
hand watered them. He knew every tree he planted, and he actually hand watered them, and all
Oh my
those
God.
trees survived except one.
Okay.
Okay. 700 building. There's a supervisor there. He lives there at the building, Victor. I don't know his last name. He's been there for years.
Which building?
700. The one that
Oh,
you're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
garbage. It's his job to clean it up. It's not the village's job. It's his job. He gets paid.
It's not
he
just the
lives
cleanup.
there.
The landscaping, the grass, the condition of the
I know.
plantings, the amount of garbage and debris that's in the hedges, in the bushes.
That's his job to do.
It is completely beyond his ability.
Why?
No, they need to
Because
hire somebody.
it is not maintained at all. I will see the same garbage there for weeks on end. It is absolutely
He
appalling.
could go up there and pick
It's
it up.
horrible. And the amount of food that
Yeah,
is
I know. I
every
live
single
there.
morning food all around that
Mhm.
building. They're feeding rats, they're feeding pigeons,
Yeah.
they're doing whatever, it's just a nightmare. It shouldn't be.
But it should be, you should send a letter to the office, and it used to be kept up in the beginning. That was his job and that's what he did. But over the years, it's gone by.
They need to put some money into that place.
Yeah. So,
We'll follow up.
let's
Anything
see.
it? Anything else?
Yeah. When is that 733 Rabbi Shantov's building? When's work going to start there? Or clean up? What? When?
So they're going to IDA, and they have to see what's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. It has to do with IDA. It's out of our hand. So we can go ahead and
Well, it
knock down the building, but then.
doesn't have to do with IDA. He just won't build it unless he gets his.
So you see, you have to
Incentive.
realize one thing. We all have to know that we can't shoot ourselves in the leg. So if I go ahead and knock down the building and take everything down and put a lien on that place, the bank is not going to give them the loan to build it. So if that happens, what's going to happen?
Well, do you
What's
really
gonna
think
happen?
he's going to get the loan? He seems to be.
Well, listen.
It's not for us
do
to
I,
decide.
It's not
We're not
for me.
loan officers.
Right. So what
No, I
you're
know,
saying,
but-
you see, Gene, I don't like that place, and that's one of the reasons. Probably, again, I didn't decide what they get. BZA decided, as I'm sure you're aware, and I hope
Yeah.
that people who are listening understand. 733 was given after it was discussed, and they presented their case. BZA, which is an independent board based on their understanding, and I'm not faulting them. I'm not saying they're wrong or they're right. They came up with the decision that the best thing that could have happened in that area was this building, because apparently no one else was interested. The other person, I'm sorry, the other person that was interested for 7 units backed off because it didn't make sense financially. So unless anyone out there is interested to come and buy the place and build 10 units, 15 units, whatever number of units they want, or they know someone who wants to do it, then you have to make a decision. It's either this that is currently there, or it's going to be that person came up with. Now, I can't say that I'm for it or against it. It's not my position at this board to say at this time. But what I can say is that for all those people who say that not more than 10 units or 15 units or whatever number of units that they want to call it, if they knew a developer who was willing to come in and put those number of units that they think is the right number of units, why didn't they call those developers? And why is it, they should ask themselves, why is it that those developers never came to actually buy the property? It's a known thing. Everything that goes on the market, everybody knows. And if a developer is not interested, you cannot force them. And don't expect the village to go buy those places and build it. It's not my job.
No, I didn't say.
Right,
that.
I know you're not saying it. The reason I'm saying this is to educate, again, I'm trying to use this to educate the people who are saying that we allowed them to build 60 units. First of all, it's not under this board jurisdiction, those variances that were given. IDA is not under my jurisdiction. Now, if the IDA decides to give them the number of, tax, and right, that's up to them. And I tell you, most buildings get approved, most, if not all, get approved by IDA. Why? Because they do believe that development is the only way you can keep any town or village in float. Now, areas like that, areas that are extremely dilapidated, areas that are not able to be built, get the maximum IDA because otherwise no one else would touch it. So yes, we can say, you know what, knock the building down, go tear it up and fix it, and then what? So I'm using the taxpayers' money to go tear up the building, fill it up with dirt, which is going to cost a lot of money. I can't get the money until the place is sold. And then it's going to be sold probably for a lot less. That place is not going to be touched by anyone because no one's really going to be interested to build there. And these people who are already invested so much time, they won't get the money from the bank. The loan officers will deny them, and then where are we going to be
Well,
then?
that's what I'm concerned, and I'm sure a lot other people. And no, I don't go on Facebook because you know I don't do Facebook.
No, I'm telling
and-
you.
But there are people concerned, and they're saying, "What if he doesn't have the money? What if he just can't get the money? Are we going to look at this until when?"
Right. So I believe that after the IDA makes their final decision, we don't know. And if it was that the IDA made a decision a year ago, and they still would not be able to get a loan, at that time I would say we have to
Then
we
you'd
have to
have to
then we
try
have
and
to
do
do something.
something. Okay.
But right now we're not there, and I can't say that I'm going to tear it down because that's really shooting ourselves in the leg, and I think no one's going to be happy with seeing that for another 30 years.
Well, I think they're having a meeting Monday night, the IDA. So hopefully next week we'll get
It's
some
Thursday
kind
night.
of Thursday we'll get
Right.
some kind of answer.
Okay.
And this is one thing I brought up 2 weeks ago. I had asked about if we could have a flashing stop sign at the corner of Wood Road, Arundel, and that. And you said, it'd be too expensive, those lights. And no. But
yes, I
you
know.
put one right across the road.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
that is coming from Woodrow to Arundel.
Yeah, and then you've got
Right.
Polo coming.
I tell
But
you,
that's
Gene,
okay. You said no, so that's
no, I didn't say
fine.
no. You have
Well,
to realize,
you
Gene,
said it'd be
I don't say
expensive.
no without giving a reason.
No,
I think
it's okay.
you know my
Forget
style.
about that.
Right, okay.
But I saw one right Everfresh. You put one there.
Oh, that's pedestrian. That's not that's a cross.
Yeah, but it's got the light, so that had to be
Anything that has
expensive.
the light doesn't make it a stop sign, Gene.
I know, but the fact that you've got one there with the lights, so why can't we put the lights on the stop sign?
No. We have to buy the stop sign with the lights
Yeah.
separately. It's not like that we just
Buy the
modify
lights and buy.
stop sign
Okay.
to.
But the one for the pedestrian walk,
It came pre-assembled with all the LED lights.
and we can't get one of those?
Those are again very expensive, and it's up to board. Currently, we have
Right.
only 4 of them in the entire village.
Because I think they're effective.
They are
Yes,
effective,
they
but
are.
they're
How much they are
effective when you
effective?
put it in the right place.
How much? You said a couple of thousand.
Right.
How
But
much-
you know what I tell you? Just because, again,
If you make them all flashing lights, they will all get ignored.
right, right. So you need to know
You need to have
if
Well,
every,
it's going to flash, and I'm going to see it.
no,
from the
Gene. If
bedroom
everything,
window,
as
but
Deputy mentioned, if everything flashes, then everything is the same. You don't want everything flashing because then everything's flashing.
But I was
You have
just
to put in
surprised
areas.
to see the flashing light right there,
Right.
across from Everfresh. I wonder why did you
Okay.
bother to put it there,
Okay.
or whoever put
That
it
was
there.
that was unfortunately a very dangerous intersection. Not an
Crossing.
intersection, but
It's a dangerous crossing.
crosswalk.
Well, you go to the Westbury, and they don't have even the traffic lights at the crosswalk. They actually have a light that flashes, and the cars stop. I was there Sunday, and I walked across the road 4 times because I couldn't believe my eyes, and the cars would stop. I was playing a game.
I have news for you. We're gonna get it once they repave the Middle Neck Road. There's gonna be 2 of them in the village. One in front of Everfresh, the other one in front of.
Rain do.
I believe it's going to have to in front of Young Israel.
Oh, yeah, Israel.
Young Israel, by the
Yeah,
entrance
that
of
could
the
do with
village.
one, yeah.
So we're gonna have 2 of those.
Yeah, by the
question
way,
is if
They're
the people are going
marvelous.
to stop.
The people actually just slowed and stopped and let you cross. They
I just
saw
want
that
to also
light.
inform, now that we're talking about safety, I think after discussing it with the legislature and it has come to I think the executive, and it's going to hopefully, it has gotten the first 2 okays so far for the speed lights,
Good.
speed
lovely.
radars.
Good.
So we are going to hopefully get about 15 of them for our
Wow.
village. So I'm hoping that is going to significantly help reduce speeding.
15?
15, 1-5.
That's
Some of them are going to be on the village roads. Some of them are going to be on the Nassau County roads. And again, there are difference between village roads and Nassau County roads. So that hopefully is going to help.
So there'd be no excuse if they speed.
Yes, and then
Good.
hopefully we can get police to enforce the speeding as well. Anyone else would like to make a comment? Yes, sir.
Hi, Mayor and the board. My
Hi.
name is Ken. I live in the Great Redner Road. Come here, Redner, just couple blocks down.
Ratner Road?
Yes,
Oh,
Radnor.
Radnor, okay.
Yeah. I'm like a pedestrian walking in the Middle Neck all the way to the LIR station. I noticed the pavement around like Uli Lands and Middle Neck. There's a tree and pavement. We have a tree damage the pavement. Has been like 3 months, more than 3 months is already. Yeah, Uli's and also Middle Neck.
Woolies and Middle Neck.
Yeah,
There's a tree that damaged.
the sidewalk pavement.
How did it?
Is it,
I
is
lifted
it on
it?
the side of the, which side, of Woolies? Not across from Woolies. on
Woolies,
the
yes.
side.
No, I don't. Yeah, but
Is it
You can-
north of the bus stop?
yes, yes,
of the bus
near the bus stop. It's and
Is
also you
that-
put the traffic
who is
cones,
that?
right?
Woolies.
But it's very difficult to walk through, so you have to step down on the roads. It's very dangerous in the winter, especially snow.
Who's
Southeast corner, the
who's-
southeast corner.
whose
of,
building is that?
6-8 Woolies Lane.
I think I noticed that since last winter, but now it's almost in spring, so I think maybe it's time we can fix it.
You're right.
It has been 3 months already.
Well, the past 3 months nothing could have been done, but maybe not 3 months, 2 months. But how did it damage? Was it the roots damaged it?
I think it's the roots. I don't know if it's the roots or like any construction related. I'm not sure. I tried to take picture, but I don't have it. But it's nearby the bus stop.
Talking about this one? Go closer, go closer. This one?
Yeah, maybe this one or this one. I cannot remember.
But you're not going to see the damage now, Eli.
No.
Could be this one, it could be this one.
Either this one or this. I cannot remember.
We'll send out the inspector tomorrow to take a look.
You see, those are you see how those trees are? Everybody sees these trees. These are not the trees these are horrible. I mean, not horrible. They're really nice, but they're causing a lot of issues.
If you can tomorrow, you can see they put a traffic cone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but it's horrible. You cannot even walk.
Can you make? Yeah, we should probably send
And
a
there's
message.
no lightings over there, so you can easily got tripped.
There are no lighting there. Oh, there's no street light there.
There's a cobra, but is the light out or?
I'm not sure.
Because it looks like there's a cobra.
Yeah, there is a cobra. Come here.
Well, maybe it's out.
We'll take a look.
Yeah, please. Okay, it's a big dream.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, thank
But
you.
just in case, I think people who are listening, if there's a number that you can leave, there's 516-482-0019, extension 102. If you see anything like that, please call the village. 516-482-0019, extension 102. Speak to Brian. 482-2000. Oh, 0019 is also the number. Okay. Okay, 482-2000, if that's easier to remember. So,
But I noticed
I always call 0019.
that's not
Yeah.
just been 3 months already. I noticed things like that last October.
You can
or
always
like-
call us and they'll take it.
Yeah, I just try to be patient because COVID and also winter, but now I think it's time we should act on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Anyone else would like to make a comment? Oh wow, you've been patiently sitting, not wanting to make any comments? No. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for coming. Move to adjourn. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night. Don't forget Monday night. Please make sure that if you have any questions, concerns, come to the board and hear it from us. And yeah, and try not to make stuff up and put it on the Facebook or your chats or blogs or anything like that. Okay? Stay with the facts. Yeah, it's okay.